Hey everyone, it's Calvin, also known as Romer, and this is Ace Attorney Chronicles. This is my first ever playthrough of the Ace Attorney Chronicles Adventures. Like, if you just jumped into this game, or if someone walked into the place I'm playing a video game right now and saw the snake over the guy's head, the poor battered and bruised Hosonaga, and of course, our lovely Susato here as well, I think that they will be very confused as to what is actually happening. And I am too. We had a great little moment there where we were kind of like doing the kind of like, it's not a cross-examination, I don't know the exact word for it, but it's actually a really cool mechanic that Sholmes does. Miss Pavlova has trained her pet snake as a killing machine. There on the floor you will observe a saucer of milk. The promise of food is the key to training any creature. Oh my god. When my girlfriends back in the past, you know, when they wanted me to do something, you know, hey, Calvin, there's some food on the ground there. That's a joke, okay? Just do what your Nina say, okay? You solved the mystery. Amazing. Your great deduction really lives up to its name. I see now why Herlock Sholmes has become such a household name. My dear man, it was nothing remarkable. As the Russians say, I could have done it with one left hand. Could I venture an opinion, Mr. Sholmes? But of course, what's on your mind? It's just about your deductions before. Some things don't quite make sense to me. I welcome questions as to my method, and will answer both loudly and proudly. It's really cool that, like, she's the one questioning this, because she was the one who was kind of so sure that he was right the first time. I think it's really, really neat, right? That's a really, really neat way of doing this. Oh, well, good. First of all... Oh, here she goes. She's getting out the book. She's getting out the book. Snakes are egg-laying creatures, part of the reptile family. You are well informed, madame. And reptiles, don't drink milk. Ah. It's really only mammals that like to drink milk, you see. So I'm not sure what would be possible to train a snake using milk as a reward. Well, my cat the other day, I dropped a garlic cheese fry on the ground, and it was gone. And I looked at my cat, it was licking her lips, and I was kind of like, we'll never talk about this again, right? Let's never talk about this again. So I'm sure it'd be possible to train a snake using milk as a reward. It would not be possible to train a snake using milk as a reward. No matter. No doubt Miss Pavlova used some other treat to encourage her pet to do her bidding. Milk was merely an example. The logic holds. Well, there is something else. Snakes have no ears. Ah. Yes, so I'm not sure it would really be possible to signal to a snake by whistling. She is owning you. She owns you right now. She owns you right now. Have you not heard of the snakes that dance to the sound of a flute? I think perhaps the performers play their music in time with the snake's natural movements. Oh, I see. No hands, no feet, no ears? These creatures are so inept that they're practically useless. Don't take it out on the snakes, Mr. Sholmes. There's one other thing. You have more? Snakes use the scales on their bellies to propel themselves. So, I'm not really sure that a snake could manage to climb up to a flat bell cord like this one in the the ones in these cabins. Then it should try harder. Please, don't be angry with me, Mr. Sholmes. The point is, even if the snake had gone through the ventilator to the next door cabin, it couldn't have come back without help. What I'm trying to say is that there are a number of reasons why it's difficult to imagine a snake could have had a part in this. I love the ellipses when they do this. Like, it's actually so good. I think we need to step in and help again, Mr. Naruto. Oh no, you don't mean... Yes, we need to modify Mr. Sholmes' latest deductions and turn them into great ones they ought to be. I had a feeling that was coming. Alright, let's give it a try. Just what I was waiting for, Mr. Naruto. Yes, right. So cast your eyes down to your wrists again. What? Oh, we're off again. We're off the hook. You've done it again. Your handcuffs are gone.
Where did they go?
Fear not, I shall see they're restored after our work is done. I really wish you'd leave them off. Now, everyone, let us begin. Herlock Sholmes is proud to present this Logic and Reason Spectacular. This is really fun last time as well. This is really fun. Course correction. And like, it is kind of neat that like we have a character like Sholmes who is like helping us at least like with little bits. Miss Pavlova, moments ago you claimed the following. This death has nothing to do with me. This whole thing has nothing to do with me. Yet you cannot deceive yourself. Yes, when you recall these horrid events, your aching heart smarts with pain. My hair is annoying me right now. She does have a pained expression on her face. Yes, that's true. She looks as though Kazuma-san's death is weighing heavily on her mind. But you're not sure Mrs. Sholmes has read her quite correctly, is that it? Could there be some other way to interpret her expression then? Is it pain? Let's take a moment and really look very closely at Miss Pavlova. Does she have like a snake bite herself? Is that what we're looking at here? Yes, she does. She has a claw mark almost.
Yes.
Oh, maybe we should have talked about it a bit more. But hey, look, we have it anyway. We have it anyway. Finger point. Yes, when you recall these horrid events, the claw scratch smarts with pain. Indeed, a simple observation reveals that the wound is fresh. Miss Pavlova, did you in fact receive that scratch? Sometime last night? You have to answer, girl. You're in a court of law. Not really, though. You're in a court of cabin. When I think about the young man who died next door, I feel so sad. And when I am sad, the pain from this wound is worse. Oh, so it's like a freaking Voldemort thing or something. And it is that very pain that evidences your inextricable link to the victim's death. So we ask, what was the nature of this intruder that stole the victim's cabin on the portentous night? Why, naturally, it was the friend with which you boarded this vessel, was it not? As I suspected, another telltale glance. Without doubt, your friend is the writhing serpent we see before us. It seems like the scratch marks on the back of Miss Pavlova's hand was made by this friend of hers, doesn't it? But like it's 3 claw marks. Except snakes don't have claws, yeah, do they? No, they don't. They don't even have hands or feet on which claws might grow. Well then, if that snake isn't her pet, what is? Oh, sorry, I should have read that there. What does it say? Sorry, no, I'll play history. What's the true identity of that friend of hers? We should follow her gaze now, son. That's where we'll find the answer. So we have to follow her gaze as usual. So she's... Wait, her gaze is over here. It's a cat.
Yes.
It's a cat. Her friend is a cat. So the cat probably had doo-doo in his claws and scratched that boy, Kazuma-sama. You were looking over the framed photograph print, weren't you, Miss Pavlova? But let's not be distracted by the print itself. Oh no. It's the frame that is your friend, isn't it? Because it so beautifully displays whatever you put inside. Wait a second, there's like a life here? I didn't notice that before. There's life you can lose? I thought this was just the investigation part of the trial. What spectacularly contrived logic led you to this mindless conclusion? Oh well, it's supposed to be logic and reasoning spectacular, so I thought I'd contribute to the show. This is my show, Mr. Naruto. Kindly perform any peculiar experiments on your own stage. Oh, sorry. Wait, what? It's not the cat? Oh, we have to maybe examine it. Okay, yeah. Okay, I say we have to examine it first. Ah, look at the photograph in this frame. This must be something Miss Pavlova brought with her when she ran away. That is an adorable cat. She's exceptionally beautiful, isn't she? Yes, that's true. But personally, she's 15. It's the little black creature she's holding that's caught my eye. Maybe we better take a closer look at this. I mean, yeah, little kitten. Look at this little cat Miss Pavlova is cuddling here. Oh, what a cute little kitten. It could vie with you, couldn't it, Naruto-san, for the blackest outfit? A black kitten. And from the look of this picture, at least Miss Pavlova seems very attached to it. So to present the little kitten then? There we go. Okay, that makes sense. I was trying to do the easy way out, really. Without a doubt, your friend is the little kitten we see before us. Yes, the scratch on the back of your hand makes that abundantly clear. Oh no. The whereabouts of this black kitten isn't clear, but what is clear is that you brought the animal with you when you ran away, didn't you? Taka is my best friend. I couldn't leave her behind. Daka sure would appear to be a Russian blue. And yet, that fact leaves us in a quandary. Is a Russian blue a real, oh, 1 second, is a Russian blue a real cat? Hold on a second. Oh god, I'm so sorry, yeah, buddy, 1 second, I'm just gonna look up Russian blue cat. Oh, it is a real cat. Holy hell, it's gorgeous. I wouldn't leave this behind either, oh my god. You would not see me leaving this behind. Victims were an observation on the question tell of a speckled band. Whereas regrettably, that's not a speckled band. This specimen's markings do not fit that description in any way. What expression can we then give, pray? What was this sight that fell upon the victim's eyes last night? The snake skin? No, don't look at me. This has nothing to do with any of this. Oh, but it does. You have the answer to this quandary even now, hidden behind your back. Or is it it might not be a snake skin, it might be like a scarf or something? Yes, that's what you're trying to but fail to conceal. Gonna be snake slough skin. Should we look at it? Did you see that? She just took something out of her pocket and hid it behind her back. That was, why did you just keep it in her pocket? Yeah, if she left it in her pocket, no one would have ever, have known. Yeah, same. Oh yes, ploys like that are Mr. Shone's specialty. He's ever so cleverly forced her to reveal something. I thought deduction was a specialty, or maybe making me believe that was a ploy too. Anyway, I find it hard to believe that's the skin of a snake. In which case, just what is Miss Pavlova hiding behind her back? I guess let's look. Sorry, Miss Pavlova, I'm gonna be standing behind you if that's okay. Okay. Oh, look at this. It's a whip. It's a whip. Wait a second. Well, it is speckled and it is a band, but what is it? It seems to be soft and fluffy. A long piece of cloth of some sort. Oh, it's like a cat toy. And it looks like they had a handle on one end. I think it may be a cat's toy. This is sort of common in the West, apparently. How is a toy for cats? Cats like to chase a band around a pod. Kittens in particular love that sort of play. You only need to wave it in front of them, and they pounce to catch it. Huh, that sounds positively adorable. So it's now a cat's toy, and we can present the cat's toy. Yes! Now, how is this case going to end? That's the big question. Yes, the thing you're trying but failed to conceal is a cat's toy. Sorry, that's a different voice. Precisely, and the true nature of how the now infamous speckled band. Oh, that's really cool. It's cool that they change, the drawings are a little bit different too, like in Ace Attorney as well, or Phoenix Wright. And it was a toy you dangled through the ventilator. You waved it around, I presume. Naturally, the victim could not fail to notice it. What, you're trying to attract Kazuma? But why? For what reason? My dear boy, there can only be one answer to that. After a feline friend disappeared through the ventilator of the neighboring cabin, Miss Pavlova attempted to use the speckled cat's toy to incite the creature to return. Ah. In summary, the nature of this friend of Miss Pavlova's, which was last night infiltrating the scene of the crime, is a blithesome Russian blue breed of cat by the name of Daka. Daka's a really cool name. Kiag. Oh, she did a Kiag. It's over. A truly troublesome feline. Young Daka has proven to be. She must be caged once found. You will forgive us for borrowing the photograph of your pet, Miss Pavlova. The photograph of Miss Pavlova and her friend, a kitten named Darka. The tiara she would wear on stage can also be seen. Is that the whole thing, or do we have... It was after I gave her food last night. What does she mean? Oh, so it's over? It was after I gave her food last night. That's when it happens. She scratched the back of my hand and then ran up the bell cord. Before I could do anything, she had disappeared through the ventilator. Taka, she's so naughty. Here's the thing. I believe her because cats are very naughty. And like, if you have a very agile cat, they will be able to climb most things. They're good at climbing freaking trees, guys, as well. Like, they're good at that stuff. They are. And like, some cats can randomly do other weird things that other cats can because they're like more inquisitive. Moving on, we come to the heart of the matter, the grim demise of the victim. This girl's a cat lady. She ran away from a company that, like, you know, was mistreating her. She stole their tiara. She, like, clearly has amazing hair. This is the best character of all time. We love her. No, she killed Cosima. Calvin, think. So cute. How did this young man lose his life and why? According to the data of which I have been apprised, it would appear that there were no visible signs of injury. In fact, the circumstance of the victim's death can only be explained by a terrible venom. Is it venom or is this going to be poison? What Mr. Shone's saying says it's true. There were no signs of a wound anywhere on his Cosima-sama's body. That's right. But Mr. Shone seems to be unaware of one very important detail. Cosima wasn't poisoned. Okay. Yes, it would seem so. Let's give him the information he's missing now. What happened to Cosima? Oh, here.
Yes.
This. Oh, yeah. Look at it. He's so confident now. In fact, the circumstances of the victim's death can only be explained by the post-mortem report. Yes, I knew it was one or the other. He's like my granddad when he watches quiz shows on TV and he gets it wrong and then he says the right answer as they're saying the right answer to be like, I do it. His neck was... Indeed, the breaking of the cervical vertebrae is fatal and only a Goliath will be strong enough to survive that. Semen struggle isn't some immortal freak, you know. The jury is out anyway. We have a good authority that the victim's neck was broken. Now, we take that as fact. Wow, look at the scene. This is incredible. The presentation of this game is incredible. It's off the charts. We can reasonably imagine that these remains evidence to affirm it. That there remains evidence to affirm it at the scene of the crime. Oh no, could there be? Yes, an examination of the deceased's body will prove the cause of death conclusively. Cosima died because his neck was broken? In other words, he was probably struck by something or someone. Yes, that's a distinct possibility. As of yet, no weapon has been found, though. Presumably, Darka didn't silently creep up behind Cosima and deal him a fatal blow. I suppose. It's possible that he did fall on the ground awkwardly. It could have been a terrible act of misfortune that broke his neck completely by accident. Oh yes, a bad fall could explain it. It's rather hard to believe the Cosima-san though. Oh no, he wasn't a clumsy man. Well, we need to fix these deductions somehow. Is there anything from the scene that could explain what happened? It's the stain, right? It's the stain? He slipped on the floor? On a broken piece?
Yes.
He slipped. Was it the cat that knocked everything over? His examination of the mark on the floor will prove the cause of death conclusively. This particular mark, so prominently visible next to the victim's body, is a deposit of shoe polish. Shoe polish? Indeed, positively identified by a little analysis device I constructed, which I carry now as a matter of course. Beeswax, tallow, and dye were my results. The undeniable ingredients of shoe polish. And the color of the polish is a perfect match to the color of Asogai's laced leather shoes. Looking at this mark, it's not hard to imagine what happened. For some reason, Mr. Asagai must have caught his foot at the point of the floor and tripped. Please, no. And by a dreadful turn of misfortune, caught his neck against some immovable object as he fell to the floor. Suffering a fatal blow to the spine, the victim's vertebrae shattered, and in that instant and lost his life. That's such a horrible way to go. No. Horrible in like terms of like the way your family will react to it. Not in like, I suppose it's like you wouldn't feel much pain if you die instantly. You know? I don't know anything about this. Is that really true, Miss Pavlova? What about the evidence left at the scene where the Mr. Asagai left his life? Yes, the facts are clear as day to me. You did all you could to conceal the incriminating evidence. Did you? But now your involuntary glance betrays the hiding place you chose. That's right. You hid the evidence that links you to the victim's death in the traveling case. Yeah, no, we'd find it by now. We'd find it by now. I don't think it's there either. I don't believe it. Kazuma-sama merely tripped over and now he's no more? It can't be true. I refuse to accept it. I know it's hard to believe, but the mark on the floor does seem to suggest that that's what happened. But if this part of Mr. Shovel's deduction is right, Miss Pavlova is trying to hide some evidence that would prove it. Here in this cabin. Somewhere is in the direction that her eyes are just in case. Was this? I completely misread that. Where, I wonder? Let's have a good look around. The answer must be somewhere. So where are her eyes? The bin. But we said there was nothing in here. This is a waste paper basket. Perhaps all the first class cabins have them? But Miss Pavlova only started occupying this cabin late last night. Presumably there's not much rubbish in there yet. Oh, there's half of the bell thing. Off the bell cord, right? Is it a bell cord? What's that? It's a broken piece of glass, isn't it? Yes, it is. And I feel like I've seen it somewhere before. If it looks familiar, perhaps it's more than your mind simply playing tricks on you.
Yes!
So you present this, is it? Yeah? The waste paper basket. That's cool. Okay, this has been really, really fun. When we get to the trial, though, I wonder, like, how we're, like, do we use all this evidence? Is that because people are saying the trial was much shorter the second time around. I wonder, like, what's going to actually, like, how it's going to work. The investigation is very long. It's fun, but it's very long. Here we have a fragment of some intricate glass object. It would seem one that has a familiar air, in fact. Precisely. We found another piece of broken glass on the floor in Mr. Asagai's cabin. I think that Ryunosuke likes this. I think he loves doing this. I think he likes being a little bit of a showman, you know? And as you can see, the two pieces fit together perfectly. Oh no. So, Miss Pavlova, shall we consider what this tells us? Why would it be that part of the glass object which has evidently broken at the scene of the victim's death? Should be in the waste paper basket in your cabin? Kia! You're well acquainted with this glass bell, are you not? I don't know. Is that hushed Russian accent of yours won't save you this time, dear girl? Why? Because we have conclusive evidence linking you to the bell in question. What? Take it away, Mr. Naruto. Yes. The evidence linking Miss Pavlova to the little glass bell, that would be... this? Is it this?
Yes.
No? That evidence knows what's wrong. This is one of Miss Pavlova's trademark dismissals, I would say. Oh, we're gonna lose marks. Would you do the honors, young lady? I don't know. Wait, oh god, what is it then? How do we link her to it? Perhaps you... What? Where's the other piece of evidence? What is it? Just let me do it then! Just let me do it! Just let me do it! Don't keep talking, just let me do it! Is it in here? Of course. Of course. Oh, it's the cat bell!
Yes.
It's this. If you look at this photograph, you can clearly see, hanging from the darkest collar, the very glass bell in question. The truth has caught up with you, Miss Pavlova. This young man who has lost his life last night did so after truly in an inauspicious fall. And the cause of that fateful stumble? Oh, here we go. Your absent feline friend, Darka. Well, then was it intentional? Okay, then it was an accident then. It was an accident. It doesn't seem like it was like completely intentional. Do you think so? Like, I don't think it was completely intentional. I couldn't tell anyone. I'm sorry. She committed a crime trying to cover up evidence for sure. But like, if it was an accident, like death by tripping over a cat, that is such a weird way to go. Oh, look at this image. That's really cool. Deduction complete, elementary. Why don't you tell us now, Miss Pavlova? Tell us exactly what happened last night. It was a little after 1 in the morning. It was so late, but I hadn't time to feed Darka, so I gave her some foods. And then, all of a sudden, she scratched me and jumped out of my hands. People do say that cats become very anxious and nervous in new environments. She was so fast, she disappeared through the ventilator before I could stop her. And that is how you acquire the rather nasty wound on the back of your hand, I take it. It doesn't matter how much your cat will love you, they will scratch you at some point. Yes. And I'd read the rules on the wall. I knew I was not allowed Darka with me. Yes, modern science suggests that animals can carry infectious diseases. It's a precaution, really. So I listened and listened, trying to hear if there was some noise in the next cabin. It was very quiet. I was sure if someone was there, he must be sleeping. So at that point, you thought it was safe to lure the kitten back again by dangling the end of the toy through the ventilator and into the adjoining cabin. Darka was always loves his toy, but it didn't work. Nothing worked. I tried using her favorite toy. I tried whistling to her softly, but nothing. She didn't return. So the faint whistling sound Cosmo wrote about in his diary was Miss Pavlova trying to retrieve her pet. Yeah, it makes sense. Cats have a prosperity to remain hidden in the shadows when frightened. Yep, they do, 100%, and they have usually have particular hiding places. So there's nothing else I can do. I just have to wait until I have 3 cats, by the way. That's why yeah. I just have to wait until she calmed down. But then. Oh, it's so easy to trip over a cat as well. It's so easy. It happens to me like once every week. I nearly passed out with shock. I heard her cry out, and then, oh, it was such a dreadful bang. Then afterwards, nothing. It was totally silent. Cosmo was.
From the appearance of the brown mark on the floor, it seems likely that what you heard was the victim stepping on the glass bell and tripping up. The SS Bra is a large vessel, but even she can pitch and roll violently without warning. Miss Asuka was already off balance as a result of the ship lurching when the kitten got under his feet. The combination of unfortunate factors could easily have caused him to fall over. But what became of the kitten afterwards?
In the end, I managed to get her to come back through the ventilator. Yet Darka's nowhere to be seen. I must have forgotten to lock my case. And now she's disappeared again. Well, we're gonna have to catch her if we're gonna arrest her. Gracious, that cat is insufferably restless as I am. Well, he knows something about himself at least. When I woke this morning, I heard that a young man in the cabin next to mine had died.
but I couldn't bring myself to tell anyone what had happened. I was too scared. Scared that they would send me back.
I can understand that completely. I can understand that 100%.
Oh, hold on a minute. What about the snake?
You're right. What is it?
If the snake isn't your friend, Miss Pavlova, then whose is it? And where did it come from?
Wonder there's a dangerous... He's petting the snake. That's adorable. Wonder there's such a dangerous creature you on the board of the ship. Oh, I didn't say. Snake is my friend. His name is Purosko.
That snake belongs to you
All this time. People in this game love like withholding information until like the last second. It's like their favorite thing.
He escaped from cage when emergency alarm sounded. I was looking for him. I didn't expect to find him in here.
Yes, how did that snake get into his cabin?
But animals are not permitted on board.
Ha! We are at sea for 1 year. You want to be so long with a close friend without someone who understands?
Dude, I totally understand you. I'm not fighting with you, dude. Couldn't you find someone a little more human who understands you better? I mean, it's difficult, especially when you get older, dude. It's so hard.
But my dear burly fellow, a gargantuan venomous snake, surely you can appreciate the danger you're putting everyone in.
No venom.
Purosko does not have venom.
He is armless. Very long but very gentle. He's adorable like a granny.
It's venomous? Yes, now he is hungry, so he's in a bad mood. But once I feed him, you will see a big smile.
And you feed him what? Milk, I suppose?
Ah, like they say, they milk chickens. Ridiculous. Snakes that drink milk are only so stupid stories. Purosko eats mouses. Big, fat, round mouses.
Oh, so is that what the mousetrap in the passageway out there was for? Oh, that makes sense.
Of course. How else could I catch my friend's favorite food?
Nothing says top of the food chain like the look in their eyes right now. Sholmes is even a bit shocked.
It refuses to drink milk, it can't hear a whistle, it can't climb up a bell cord, and it's not even venomous.
How the deuce is something so inept land a starring role? Oh, that's a bit of a good commentary. That's great commentary.
It's not my fault, I do not make up stories.
My Purosko has nothing to do with the incident.
So that's what happened. That's the truth behind my friend's tragic death. It's crazy, isn't it? Like, it's just an accident. Miss Pavlova, I understand the difficult situation you found yourself in, and I do sympathize, but please remember this. A young man lost his life. If you're going to attempt to cover up your guilt with lies, then there's no matter the circumstances, I cannot forgive you. This is a touchy subject. This is a touchy subject that I do have thoughts on, but I want to hear what Susato has to say first.
But what are you talking about, Miss Mikataba? What lies? Miss Pavlova just confessed everything.
Wait, she's more lies?
It's just a series of unfortunate events, an accident.
I'm no great detective like Mr. Sholmes. I don't have a gift for knowing the truth. But even I can see that was not the truth. What? No. Don't you agree, Mr. Naruto? To be perfectly honest, yes. There's a discrepancy in Miss Pavlova's story, I'm sure of it. I just can't quite put my finger on it. What is it?
Sholmes, I confess. I was intending to let Scotland Yard deal with any outstanding issues on this matter. Oh. I'm only present here for a very specific reason. The truth is, You, Mr. Naruto, are simply a distraction. A distraction? I do hope you've not been finding your shackles uncomfortable. Ah! Not again! When did you do that? Especially as they're on your wrist as a result of my intervention. I was rather hoping I would resolve matters before we made our next port call. You were, Mr. Shums? Yes, but I overlooked one important detail. The deceased young man was a very close companion of yours, was he not? Yes, Kazuma was my closest friend. I owed him my freedom even. Oh, we're gonna talk about the wardrobe? In that case, we must follow this to its conclusion. No further distractions. You must uncover the real truth here, Mr. Naruto. Yes, whatever that may be. The key to this is the discrepancy in Miss Pavlova's story. I'm sure. If I can chase that down, maybe the truth will become clear. What's the discrepancy? The truth about how you really died. About how that scene in your cabin already came to be. I don't know how he's holding it together, but I would not be able to do this trial. I'd be bawling my eyes out. Alright, I'll see what I can do. Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Naruto. So then, shall we begin? Yes. What we should ponder first is the victim who lost his life in the cabin that was bolted shut from the inside. Was truly an unfortunate accident, or was in fact no accident at all. That is what we must establish in the first instant. But we already established it, haven't we? The man tripped over a kid. If you're gonna say the same thing over and over again, Hosonaga, go home. Hold it! Wait, just take a step back. It doesn't make sense that's really what happened, does it? I'm going to have to actually spell it out for me, I'm afraid. Of course we have to spell it out for you. Yes, it's starting to take shape now. And me as well. There's a clear contradiction between the facts and Miss Pavlova's story here. The evidence is right there in Cosmo's cabin. It's undeniable. His death couldn't possibly have been a mere accident. Really? Let us show our hand, Mr. Naruto. Time to present the evidence. The evidence that proves unequivocally that the victim's death was no mere accident is this. Yes! The truth is clearly recorded in this photographic print. If it was an accident, why would he do this? Oh, someone else drew it for him. That script, it's Russian, isn't it? Indeed it is. The word written means wardrobe. Wardrobe, I think, is like a Russian dance. I see what you mean. Most people would leave dying a message in their native language, Japanese in this case. But maybe he was studying Russian. Why are you claiming this? It is a simple language. He could have picked it up very fast. It's not that simple. That's actually not the point. That's actually not the point. It makes no difference whether he knew Russian or not. Sorry, what do you mean? What I said before. There's no way that Mr. Asagai could have left this message on the floor. And the reason why is clearly explained in here. Damage to the cervical vertebrae resulting in instant death. Instant death. Which means, after the victim fell to the floor, he couldn't have possibly written anything, because he was already dead. That's not the only reason either. There's something else we found in Mr. Asagai's cabin. A remnant of something that couldn't possibly have been there, if what Miss Pavlova has told us is true. What? So Susada-san noticed it too then? A remnant of something? Putting a message on the floor aside, there's something else that gives the truth away. Another piece of evidence that proves this was no accident. In other words, a remnant of something that proves it was no accident. Is it the bell again? I mean, you might as well try it, right?
even if it's wrong? This piece of broken glass next to the mark on the floor. But that's the glass bell that kidnapped around his neck. We already know all about that. It was broken in half when the victim tripped over the cat and fell. So we already have a satisfactory explanation. Where's the flaw in that logic? Unfortunately, there's a very big flaw, a fatal flaw. If that's really what happened, then how did one half of the bell end up back here in this cabin? Yeah, someone had to go and obtain it. Yeah. Someone had to go and actually grab it. Yes, remember that we found the other half of the glass bell in that waste paper basket? Would you care to explain that, Miss Pavlova? Oh no. Both these pictures, both these pieces of evidence clearly point to the same conclusion. That when Mr. Asagai died last night in his cabin, there was someone else in the room. And that same person deliberately arranged the scene to disguise the truth, in order to cover up his or her own guilt. Kia. Yes, there was someone else present, Mr. Asagai's. Hold it. You were wasting time?
Someone else was there? Duh, of course. We know this.
What are you talking about?
Bulkhead was bolted shut from inside. There was no way in or out.
Oh, yes.
We know this already, so I don't think you need to say this again. Like you can say, hey, it was you, and I'll prove you wrong. I think I have an idea what we're doing as well, though. It's true, I was in the cabin when it happened. You were shut inside the cabin wardrobe, to be precise, about the details. But I don't know Russian. There's no way I could have left that message. No, not would have. There's no way you could have left that message, to be precise about the details. Would you mind? I love how we started off like just really not liking Shomes, and like now we're like he's like our roommate again, like he's our buddy. Forgive me, my dear fellow. As I was saying, he's saying, I tell you, he was just telling him to do it. I thought it was very sweet. You know, you go ahead and do it. The person in question wrote the word wardrobe in Russian on the floor, in an attempt to incriminate me for the crime, even though I had been asleep in there the entire time. Nice boots. And then the same person picked up the broken glass bell that had fallen to the floor, for fear of becoming evidence that would show how Mr. Asagai really died. But why wouldn't this person have taken all the pieces of the bell away? Leaving half behind was always going to raise questions. Yes, well, it was past 1 o'clock early in the early hours of the morning. The cabin would have been quite dark. The single small lamp suspending from the ceiling would have barely have cast any light on the floor there. Little wonder then that the culprit failed to notice a fragment of the tiny item. You all suspect me, don't you? Not Stroganoff, he's gonna protect you. That's why the mark's on his face from. It's from the snake. That makes sense now. Seaman Stroganoff.
Nina is a woman of the sea. She is the daughter of a strong sailor. 2 years ago, they noticed her dancing skills and she went away to join the ballet company. But before, she was dancing on the ship.
A member of the ship's band, so they see her as one of their own. You do not accuse the ship's angel of being a criminal. That's actually kind of sweet. That's kind of a sweet thing to say. Ah, so that's it.
You say that when young student died, Nina was there in this cabin. But that's not possible. I give my tooth.
Well, this is almost interesting. Why would you give your tooth, pray? How can you be so sure?
You're a great detective, you should know. Look the truth in the eyes. The cabin bulkhead was bolted shut from the inside. Nobody could go into the cabin, not Nina, not anyone. Or you want to tell me the killer can walk through locked doors?
It was the boat. I think the boat moved the latch back and forth, maybe.
Yet, it's impossible.
It's really sweet how you're defending her. It really is. He's right. But wait, I've read about this in detective stories. People often tie their thread around the door latches so they can open and close them from the outside.
Thread?
Are you stupid? Don't call her stupid now, Stroganoff, because it doesn't matter how big you are. You call my girl stupid, we're going outside. We'll jump you. Me and Hosnaga are going to dance on you. These bulkheads are not barn doors.
Certainly not.
They are watertight doors as one would expect to find on any modern steamship. Constructed of heavy steel with not a gap in sight. No threads or needles or magnets could have been used. No, of course not. But I'm thinking it's the boat. But Mr. Naruto suggested it earlier, so... So, Sasan, how could you shift it onto me like that? I mean, like, it's true if he suggested it. So, Steven Strogan has a valid point. The cabin door couldn't have been bolted shut from the outside. Not necessarily. What? Here we go, Sholmes. I put it to you that I could bolt this cabin door without laying a finger on it. And I'm in this very cabin. We can see the traces of the method I have in mind haven't been used before.
I don't believe it.
Well, Mr. Naruto, I believe you know what I mean, don't you? A way to shut the bolted cabin door from the outside. One way does spring to mind, yes. Do you really know what Mr. Sholmes means, Mr. Naruto? Yeah, it's the it's the boat moving, right? Because we've seen it happen. Yeah, it was when the boat's like moves and it unbolts the door and bolts the door. Indeed we have. So you care to do the honors, Mr. Naruto? Point out the telling signs of method that was used to oh my god, from here? So is it, if we're saying that the boat moved, are we saying it's this?
Yes.
Because like the book knocked over the book? Yeah. Have toppled over. Yeah, great, perfect. Because like the thing is, I knew it was gonna come into play. They kept talking about this. Yeah, we talked about this for like the last half an hour, last hour really. That must have happened when the ship made its emergency stop before.
Yes, that's right. It's a very powerful vessel after all. When the engines are thrown to reverse, a violent jolt goes across the entire ship. Any small objects that are fastened down are bound to fall over.
That aren't fastened down.
My little book, 1 second. I believe, yes, it was known as what's force of inertia acting on the objects.
Is there nothing Susato-san doesn't know? Or that isn't in her book at least? I mean, like, to me, like, it's very knowledgeable to, like, and very smart to, like, have information with you. You know, I think one of the things that, like, a lot of kids won't do is they won't look up words in the dictionary because they feel like, you know, it makes them feel dumb. Always look up those words. Same force that pushed over the books on the bookcase also made something else in this cabin move. The bolt on the cabin door. It was very obvious just after the emergency stop that the ship made earlier. We had come to this cabin not long before, and we hadn't bolted the door. But then... Hello, is anyone... Yeah, we got re-bolted. Shout if you need assistance. Remember there was a siren. Well, that sounds like... Inspector Hosonaga. That's it. When the ship stopped suddenly, the bolt flew across and locked the door. It was made of metal but small and light enough to be moved with the ship's sudden change of speed. The force of inertia, if you want to call it that.
Are you trying to say that last night, after Asukai was killed,
the door just rebolted? Yeah, what we were thinking right away. The SS Spirit made another emergency stop. When I woke up this morning and looked around the cabin, I thought it looked a little odd. All the books on the shelves had toppled over, and all the ornaments. It was almost as if someone had run their hands across the shelves and literally knocked over everything. We talked about this quite a bit, quite too much, I'd say. I think I've been saying it probably to the point that people probably get annoyed at me. Oh yes, I remember that. And I stood them all up again, didn't I? And then when we came to the cabin, we were surprised to see the same thing here. All the books and everything had toppled over, just like in Mr. Asagai's cabin. Oh my. Do you have anything to say about this, Miss Pavlova? He's defending her. You mind? You say the Bureau made an emergency stop? It does seem a little far-fetched. How could that possibly have happened? Unless you're saying that the culprit is actually someone from the engine room. Oh, it is simple enough. Are you forgetting the button in the passageway outside? Used to trigger the emergency alarm? Oh yes, of course. There was a notice, wasn't there? Telling you to only press the button in times of emergency. Yeah, this is something that was a throwaway thing though, right? Well, we didn't even notice this or even try to notice this, like.
Hence the placement of the number of buttons around the vessel to allow any crewman to raise the alarm. The sort of button one is almost compelled to press to satisfy one's curiosity. Wait, it was you? When the button is pressed, two things will happen in the interest of safety.
Oh, so he pressed it in the second one. The emergency alarm bell rings and the vessel comes to a complete stop. That makes sense.
As indeed it did a little earlier today. Mr. Sholmes, surely it wasn't you who...
As I always say, a button has but one purpose in life. Wait, he pressed it when he died? To be pressed, whatever the occasion. He almost sounds proud of himself. You shouldn't sound proud of yourself this time, buddy. There shouldn't be any pride in this moment whatsoever. I wouldn't be proud at all.
How dare you mess with ship? I report you to Captain. You are in much trouble now.
Now I'm sure you cannot wait until later. Let us not overlook the fact that we have now learned a valuable lesson. When the vessel makes an emergency stop, the bolts on the cabin doors slide closed. So, what we must now consider... Yes, it all comes down to one thing now. Last night, after what happened, Mr. Asogai... Did the ship make an emergency stop, or did it not?
Buruzu have many passengers. If we were making an emergency stop in the middle of the night, there would be chaos everywhere.
What are your thoughts, Mr. Naruto? We have that record book, right?
Well, it's certainly possible that some kind of emergency happened last night. We've evidence to support that idea. Really? What evidence, Mr. Naruto?
Fascinating. Do show us, my good man. What evidence promotes the theory that some emergency gripped the vessel last night? It was this, right? Because usually he'd write nothing to report. But this time he had something to report. Seaman Stroganoff.
It's your duty to patrol the first class area of the ship, isn't that right?
That is correct. Why?
And the ship's log here. This will be where you record the details of your duties?
What are you doing with that?
That is mine.
Your eyes are clearly left at the top of the little makeshift bureau in the passageway out there. But as responsible passengers, we took it into our care with a mind to return to later.
I left it on purpose. That is where I put it always.
The point is looking at what you usually record. It's clear that under normal circumstances, you write the phrase, nothing to report every 30 minutes. But from 2 o'clock last night until first light this morning, nothing was recorded at all.
Nothing in the log?
That is because nothing happened.
But if nothing happened, you would normally write nothing to report, wouldn't you?
Well,
indeed so, which tells us that shortly after 2 a.m., something happened here aboard the SS Pura. Something sufficiently significant to make you forget the fill in the ship's log, in fact. Are you suggesting that the ships really did make an emergency stop in the middle of the night?
Stop talking rubbish.
If I'm perfectly honest, I find it a little hard to believe myself. Oh, why?
Well, because if something as major as an emergency stop really happened,
surely all of us would have noticed.
That's very true. Thanks to the emergency stop we experienced earlier, we all know what it feels like now. The ship lurched so violently, and the alarm bell was so loud. I can't imagine anyone would sleep through that even if it happened in the dead of night. Well, no, that's a good point.
What of the throbbing?
Oh, everyone had a headache. Yeah, remember everyone had a serious headache. What do you mean?
Your head, man. The throbbing of your head since this morning. We have all suffered with it.
Ah. Oh, yes. I have a headache. You're right.
In fact, I haven't been feeling well since I woke up. Well, you got the shit kicked out of you, so like, I wouldn't use your experience.
Nor have I. My head has been feeling heavy ever since dawn. You've all been afflicted, haven't you? Just as I suspected. He's right. My head's been throbbing today too. And since eating dinner yesterday evening, everything has felt sort of hazy. I can't remember anything that's happened after I climbed back inside the wardrobe. Then the first thing I noticed this morning was the throbbing pain in my head. I had already been dragged out of the wardrobe. Yeah.
I think we got knocked out or something.
I had those handcuffs put on me by that point. Why didn't I wake up when all was happening to me? Tell me, Mr. Naruto. You boarded this vessel as a stowaway, didn't you? Oh, well, yes. Sorry. The stowaway class of accommodation doesn't usually include meals. What did you survive on? Well, Cosmo looked after me. He was always happy to share his meals. So you enjoyed some of the whole roast chicken dish that was served? Yesterday evening, I take it? Yes, in fact, I had all of that. Cosmo wasn't fond of the chicken. Oh, really? So the victim didn't eat any of the chicken at all? That's right, he didn't touch it. So you're saying there's like sleeping pills in it or something? Is that relevant? My dear fellow, does that not strike you? Mr. Sholmes, do you mean to say that there was something wrong with the chicken? I do. No, really. Is that really true? The meal prepared for the passengers last night had been tampered with. Tampered with by the addition of sulfuric, designed to induce a very deep slumber in those who consumed it. Ah, so why did she do this then? Your glasses are broken, my dude. A sleeping drug? Do you mean whoever did this laced every meal with sleeping drugs so no one would notice the ship's emergency stop? Mr. Naruto, of course that's not what Mr. Sholmes means. What a far-fetched idea. Precisely. Lacing every meal with every passenger on board with a sulfuric drug would certainly be impossible. Unless, that is, every single member of the crew was a conspirator. Well, Seaman. I love that with the we got the answer to it, why his face is like that. I guess they all loved her. I'm sorry to say that any more deception in this matter will get you nowhere. If you refuse to talk, then there would have been an inquiry made through the shipping companies, of course. And for that to happen, every member of the crew and the captain himself would be hauled over the coals for aiding and abetting a renegade. Oh no. It's kind of a really interesting story, like how like they adore this girl so much. A little bit too weird maybe because she is 15, you know? Please, no more. I would tell everything. Oh, the animations are so good. I cannot make problems like this for everyone anymore. The crewmen are your former comrades, I believe. Yes, so when I decided to run away,
we all agreed to help, everyone together. She threw away everything, her fame in the ballet, Mother Russia. We wanted to help our angel.
She's 15, dude. I do believe it. I think they mean it in more of kind of like someone like that's like maybe like a little sister way. I think maybe. Hopefully anyway. I don't believe it.
You're right. We put sleeping drugs in chicken last night.
Well, why did they kill him? I remember now. I didn't notice chewing on a lump of something strange and bitter at one point.
We could not make all drug. How do you say? Dissolved?
Talk about heavy seasoning.
At midnight in waters near Shanghai, we brought our angel on board.
Oh, so that's why they did it. They did an emergency stop. That's so freaking cool in terms of a story. That's so cool.
She was helped by comrade on shore with a small fishing boat.
While all the passengers of the SS Buddha slept soundly. Thanks to almost magical effects of the slumber, inducing potion their evening meals had contained. So if that was what happened, the only people awake on the ship last night were the crew people who disliked chicken, and so he must have seen it. He witnessed this happen, didn't he? Oh no. The newly boarded passenger, Miss Pavlova.
And that means it would have been possible for you. You could have used the emergency stop to trick to lock Kazma's cabin door.
But how does that make sense? Surely everyone in the cabin would have ended up locked in that case, and there would have been a complete chaos.
Oh, I wouldn't say so.
What?
Of course. Just like us, all the other passengers would have eaten their evening meals of chicken in their cabins, after which they would have been overwhelmed by tiredness because of the sleeping drug. Quite. And accordingly, all passengers were already in their cabins for the night. An overwhelming majority of passengers would have habitually sleep with their cabin doors bolted anyway. And so not one of them would have found it remarkable to find the door locked in the morning. In summary, in order to fasten the bolt of a single cabin door on a ship, the culprit brought the entire vessel to an emergency stop in the earliest hours of the morning. Fair play to him. Like, again, it's really interesting. Like, this to me, like has a lot of, like, intricate details that are really, really fun.
You have talked long time and said many things. What is point?
The point is what I said earlier. There was somebody else present on the scene when the victim lost his life last night. Someone who left a message in Russian on the floor in an attempt to incriminate another. Someone who tried to desperately hide the broken fragments of glass that would reveal the culprit's true identity. And someone who abused the ship's emergency stop procedure in order to lock a door. And all told a busy night. But.
I don't know anything about any of this. I'm just a little girl.
You like to speak with your long English words and explain your clever ideas. This is me, like, in talking to anybody. You like to speak with big words, don't you?
But I am sailor, and sailors don't listen to long, boring stories you don't believe.
Sailors maybe we trust only what we see with our eyes. A laughable trait.
What?
I'm quite the same disposition, my good man. Observation be as everything. I mean, as a detective, possibly, yes. Yes. Oh, yes? Do you hear it? The accusatory cry of guilt on the wind? What accusatory cry of guilt? Sorry. You've lost me. Proof of involvement, man, but you can't hear such a call with your ears. No. You must hear it with your eyes, for observation is the basis of all deduction. What? Yeah, what are you talking about? I believe the time has come for one final logic and reasoning spectacular. Oh, dude, I don't think we need it. I don't think we need it, my dude. I think we're doing good. I think we're okay. I think we kind of have this all buttoned down, you know? Respond, if your assistance, if you please. With what exactly, Mr. Sholmes? With observation, my dear fellow. Just as I said, of these two prevaricators? Observation? If you remember, Mr. Naruto, we know that somebody tried to fabricate evidence, don't we? By tampering with the scene of Mr. Asagai's death. What we're looking for is some trace of evidence that one of these two was there when it happened. Precisely. You are delightfully quick to grasp my meaning. Alright, I'll see what I can see. So we're looking for a trace of evidence that shows someone else was there last night when Cosma died. What suggests that someone else was at the scene? Gotcha! Oh, that was good. The ink stained my wood. Seaman Stroganoff, you seem to have quite the large purple stain on the back of your white uniform there.
Yes, I, don't know where that comes from.
It's kind of like, to me, like, you know, the criticisms I always have of this game so far is the fact that, like, I feel like the game, like, over-explains things, and sometimes there's too much dialogue in, like, scenes that don't need dialogue. Like, there's sometimes too many twists in the investigations. Like, if we have to do a trial after this is really long. Like, it's crazy, right? But, like, I feel like it's just, like, there's too many winding turns. I feel like, you know, we have a lot of evidence here already. I know we have to get definitive evidence. I don't know, that's just like the criticism I have of this game. And like, I think that, like I said before, you know, because I think some people always, like, you know, naturally, humans tend to forget stuff that, like, with the good parts when talking about the bad parts. So I can also reiterate always that, like, you know, yeah, the animations are fantastic, the presentation is fantastic, the music is great. This has been super fun.
So nothing in particular comes to mind about the stain?
What you tried to say?
It would appear that the significance of this stain has escaped your attention, Seaman. Allow us to make it plain. It's a very large purple stain in the back of the Seaman Stroganoff's uniform. I think what made is clear. The ink, yeah. Indeed it is. So, Mr. Naruto, present the evidence that proves it. My pleasure. Alright then. The evidence that proves that the stain in the back of the Seaman Stroganoff really is. It's the ink. It's the ink. It's the ink. It's the ink here. It's this right here. Yeah?
Yes!
Crime scene photograph. I love that we're doing this together this time. We're not correcting Shomes this time. We're doing it together. That's really cool. That's a really good progression of this. It's a photograph the ink shows. This is what caused the stain in your uniform. Ink?
A rather unusual color of ink, purple.
Oh!
Ah, the penny drops at last. Now you see the significance. The Russian word on the floor next to the victim's body was written in purple ink.
So cute. And the stain in the back of your uniform was an ink of exactly the same color.
If the ink had been dry, it couldn't possibly have stained your uniform in that way, which means you must have been present in the cabin in the moments immediately after the ink was spilled.
All right. Yes. It was me. I did it. Everything.
I arranged everything in the dead student's cabin to make it look like a wardrobe man did it. Then I pressed the button to make the Buddha do an emergency stop and bolt the cabin door shut. I did everything so no one would suspect our angel. Please, Biff.
Don't worry, Angel. Let me do the talking. It was after 1 in the morning. I was on duty patrolling passageway. Then our angel came to me. She was white like a sheet.
But please, you must help me.
I went with her. The door to the cabin number 1 was open. When I looked inside, I saw a student boy on the floor.
Also, he hid the evidence. What happened here?
Please, don't tell anyone. My little one, my little furry friends.
She's a great character. Like, everyone's a great character in this game. Everything happened in the cabin is like Angel had told you. The kitten escaped through the ventilator into Master Asagai's cabin. Then he tripped over it and broke his neck when he fell to the floor. Yes, that is right. So after the incident when the cat ran away, Miss Pavlova was then visited the cabin next to hers. Only to find its occupants lying lifeless on the floor. She said she was worried when she heard the sound of something falling on the floor. That's when she went to look. No angel. No angel, I think he's saying? The door was not locked. So she opened to look. And you already know what happened after. Yeah, we know what happened. Is this the truth now? Is this the truth? There's just one thing. Susato, leave it. Susato, I think we know what's happening. What? I'd be a terrible attorney. Hey, leave it here. When you went to Mr. Asagai's cabin, Miss Pavlova, was he already dead? Why? I already told you. When you opened the door of the student's cabin and looked inside. I was asking Miss Pavlova. Yeah, she can speak for herself. Well, Miss Pavlova? Da. Oh. Yes, that is right. I saw him. It was dark, and he was wearing black. But he was on the floor, not moving. I was scared. I mean, that's, yeah, very easy. I believe you. I believe her. I believe it the first time too, though. So I guess I'm just very gullible. So is that finally it now?
Have we discovered the real truth about Cosmo's death at last?
Something nearly slipped my mind. We don't need it. It's okay. You're okay. We're okay. We don't need a mountain on top of mountains. You know what I mean? We found out everything. Everyone can go in peace now.
Mr. Sholmes? This photograph. I took this myself, you know.
Okay.
The cause of death was a broken neck, therefore the victim died instantly, and the unfortunate incident precipitated these events. A kitten on which the victim stumbled. However, if those are facts, there's one particular area in this photograph that seems to me somewhat unnatural.
What do you mean? This is what I mean by like there's too many like twists and turns. I feel like they could make it a little bit like more not straightforward. Like I like the intricacies, but I feel like sometimes it's like, but what about this? And what about that? Like the last try was ridiculous for that. It was ridiculous.
What are your thoughts on the matter, Mr. Naruto? Oh, well... If Cosmo tripped and fell, and by some terrible stroke of bad luck broke his neck, which part of this photograph seems unnatural? Is it... And he did it himself, no?
Yes!
This word in Russian is clearly written by Cosmo, so if you're looking for something unnatural, that's the obvious point.
But like, yeah, like someone did it for him. Oh. Okay, we know that. Yeah, okay, then I failed that then. Another point?
Oh, I see. Imagine, if you will, losing your footing yourself. In my opinion, if you landed the victim appears to have done here, it would have been most unnatural. I'm sure you'll reach the same conclusion. How thoughtful of you, Mr. Sholmes.
This is what I mean as well. I feel like sometimes the dialogue goes on for too long. I don't need to hear everyone's opinion on everything. Fell by some terrible stroke of bad luck and broke his neck. Which part of this photograph represents seems unnatural? His neck?
I don't know.
If he fell and broke his neck? Like I don't like I'll do this here, but I don't know if it's gonna be true. No. No. Okay, just point it out then, dude. Just point it out then. I'm not here for this, you know? Like we don't need, if you know it already, you should probably say it, you know? When on a crucial point, it can be helpful to keep your eyes open. They were open. His eyes? Okay. If you know it though, you should solve the murder as well with us. Is it plain? The word is written in foreign language under his fingertips, surely. We know it was... Okay. If he really fell due to an unfortunate accident, then this fist just doesn't seem quite right. The only reason I chose the fist in the end, with quite a bit of thinking, was the fact that like maybe like if you broke your neck and became paralyzed or something, you wouldn't be able to clench your fist, or maybe you wouldn't have your fist clenched when you were falling or something like that. That's the only thing I really think of. The exact same thought occurred to me. In a fall, one instinct is to open a palm is flat. Yeah, when you're falling, you kind of try and protect yourself. It was here the victim's left hand is tightly balled into a fist. Almost you might say, as though he were gripping something. What do you mean? Simply that I took the liberty of investigating the victim's fist a short while ago. Okay, if you know the answers, tell us. If you're not, you're against us. This is what's happening here. I'm sorry, but that's a pet peeve of mine. Tell us. Just tell us. It doesn't make sense to withhold information if you have it. I'm very frustrated. Show us, please. Well, of course, my dear madame, would I keep you in suspense? Yes, you have been doing that. You've been, like, keeping information from us for the past, 10 minutes. Please, just tell us. I went from loving you to being a big fan. This is what I found?
That was on the... Hold on. Well, let me look at the record here. No, I thought I saw it somewhere. Was it here or was it here? No, it wasn't here either. Where did we see that? A crescent moon with a little gemstone in the middle. Leah, it looks like an earring. Yes, you're right. A crescent moon. It's very pretty, but what does it tell us?
It tells us nothing.
You be quiet. You just be quiet, okay? The crescent moon looks familiar somehow. I'm sure I've seen it somewhere before. Observation, Mr. Naruto. That is the key. So if you know, say it. Go. Go now. Say it. What? The truth is now tantalizingly close. How did that crescent moon come to be in Cosmo's clenched fist? This is the final clue, that last piece of the puzzle. Ask yourself, what does this little crescent moon mean? What significance has it? And observe the final answer with your own eyes. You know what it is? Where did we see it before? Oh, so it's in her ear.
Yes.
Okay, so it's one of her earrings. So he grabbed the earring? Is that what we're saying? That's why you did clenched fist? Miss Pavlova, on your ear there. What if we never got this? Was Mr. Sholmes just gonna sit there and go, oh, keep going, 5 hours later, keep going? Yeah, okay, I just want to explain my criticism here, because I feel like, people are gonna probably, have a different opinion on this, that's fine. I think that each chapter is way too long. I think that there's too many twists and turns. I feel like, they could have made it a lot more simplistic. I think that this game is gonna end up being around, 30 to 35 hours, the way the pacing is going, if we do have, 5 trials per game, or 4 trials per game even. Maybe even, a little bit less than that. But, and the last trial is usually, way longer than the other trials. And I think that these games always work better as, 20-hour, games. Because they're, the pacing is always really perfect. I think that there's too many times in this game where, 10 characters give their opinion on one moment. And there's too many times in this game where there's too many twists and turns. I feel like this case was over, an hour ago. I think at this point, we might not be going to a trial, which I want to praise. If there isn't a trial for this is a really cool way of doing this, because I didn't expect this at all, to just have this going on at this point in this way. Yeah, a lot of people said this was shorter, which means that it's not shorter, by the way. It's about the same length. So I'm wondering if there is a trial after this investigation and it's a lot shorter, because it's not shorter. It's definitely not shorter. At least the way I played it, it wasn't shorter. And I didn't really fail anything, and I really kind of got everything in the right moment. But it's the same length, really, as the first very long trial. And if this is the only trial as well, though, and it's actually just this investigation, that's a really cool twist that I didn't expect. That's really cool. Ah, what? And on your other ear, the empty, yeah, they got pulled off. There seems to be a crescent moon missing. The link holding it must have broken, I suppose. Now, the missing crescent moon was found in the victim's clenched fist. Clearly, there's only one logical conclusion. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Naruto? Yes. If you know it, you should say it, though. Miss Pavlova. Mr. Asagai must have grasped the crescent moon and pulled it from your ear. Perhaps just moments before he fell on the floor. He liked the earrings. Ooh, look at these. In other words, last night, Mr. Asagai's cabin, you witnessed a moment when the victim fell with your own eyes. In fact, you were quite literally at arm's length from him. But then the question is, why did Mr. Asagai do that? Why did he pull your earring from your ear? Oh, sorry, I skipped that there. Why did you pull your earring from your ear and hold it in his clenched fist during the trial moments? Oh no. Angel. No one can protect you now. Please, Miss Pavlova, tell us the truth. Last night, what did you do to Kazuma? So that's the part in the trial. When I think about everything that happened yesterday, it was too much. So this is kind of the breaking point, I suppose. So there might not be a trial. That's actually really interesting. And by the way, I'm not saying people are liars, by the way, when they said that this trial was shorter. I'm just saying that it is not shorter. It's a half an hour shorter, maybe 20 minutes shorter. It's still like 5 hours long around that area. Maybe just 4 hours and a half. I'm just saying that maybe we had different playing experiences. That's all. Trying to climb in this huge ship. And then, when I was at the last cabin, I could relax after this horrible long day. Meow. Daka, wait. So we're gonna get a full picture of what happened here, I suppose.
couldn't believe it when she disappeared through the ventilator. I tried to call her with a little whistle. I tried waving a favorite toy, but nothing worked. Darka would not come back.
So she went into the room. Oh, she knocked at the cabin door. Cloak.
What are you doing here this time of night, Inspector? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was a friend of mine.
Oh no, he was so, like, unsuspecting about what was going to happen.
The young man from your country, he was very polite and kind. He helped me to find Darka, and then he promised not to tell anyone. But then, when I had my friend in my arms again, I was going to leave the man's cabin. Just a moment, sorry, but... Oh yes? I'm sure I know your face. I've seen you somewhere before. Ah. Of course. You're Nikolina Pavlova, aren't you? The Russian ballerina. Huh? No, I don't know that name.
My heart nearly stopped when he said that.
He knew who I was. How could this man from a land in the faraway east know a Russian ballerina? Yes, I saw your performance in Japan. The beauty of the ballet made a deep impression on me. But what are you doing on this ship? I'm sure that your ballet company was performing in Shanghai at the moment. I can't fool him. I have to tell him the truth and hope he doesn't tell anyone. I have no other choice.
I see. So you've run away.
Please keep my secret. Don't tell anyone.
Give me a moment. I could use another opinion here. So he's gonna ask now. Oh! He's going to pull that cord. Oh, he thought that was gonna be the captain, but he's looking towards the wardrobe.
Then it happened. Everything at once. It was only a second, but it felt like forever. Wait a shout, and then... Oh, meow. Darka jumped in my arms and down to the young man's feet. And...
Oh no, I think turned around to look at me.
Ooh! I pushed him.
Oh, so you yeah, that would be seen as murder. Yeah, I don't even think it's involuntary manslaughter at that stage. Maybe it might be. I actually think it might be because you pushed him without the intent to kill. So it might just be manslaughter. But I don't know if they have those rules nowadays, or back then I should say.
I don't know why I did it. I was just so scared.
Yeah, it was a reaction. Such a horrible way to die. To stop him telling anyone about me.
And that's when you went to fetch help? From Seaman Stroganoff, who was on duty out in the passageway.
I heard Nina cry out and thud on the floor, so I ran to her. She was standing at the cabin door. Shaking like a leaf, she looked at me and said,
"Help me, Biff. If they find out, I will be... Please, I've nowhere to go."
It is scary, right? It is incredibly scary. So you decided to help.
And that's when you arranged things in Cosmo's cabin to make it look like I did it. So that no one would suspect the passenger in the cabin next door?
Yeah. Yeah, so this is still a crime. We can have sympathy, but it's still very much like a crime that this guy committed, trying to frame someone who was very innocent of nothing and of doing nothing, you know what I mean? It's just, yeah, it is still a crime, regardless of how much sympathy we have. One's cabin looked around to make sure there was nothing to show Nina was there. And then I found a stowaway in wardrobe, still sleeping.
Right, that's when he found me. So he worked out a plan to lay the blame on the stowaway. I closed wardrobe doors and put back strange paper sign. Lucky for me, that's the only reason Susanna-san started to believe me when I said I was innocent. I dragged Young's body to a good place and used ink that was spilling to write on the floor. I wrote, "Bookie dookie doo," so that's the person who found him would look inside the wardrobe to find a stowaway. And tell me, what of the glass bell? It was by my feet, so I picked it up. I see. But it was dark in the cabin, I didn't notice the other half. Then, Angel went back to her cabin and I finished the job by pressing the emergency button in the passageway.
Watch this. Knowing this game, Suzawa's gonna be like, that doesn't make quite a lot of sense. And we're gonna go into like another hour of just like investigating.
Accordingly, the SS Bureau did indeed come to an emergency halt a little after 2 a.m., thus enticing the bolt of the cabin door to slide shut, creating the locked room mystery. But something doesn't quite make sense. There's still one thing I don't know.
Okay, maybe it's not gonna be like,
What? Well, you said that you told Cosmo about the fact that you run away from your homeland. And it's because you were worried he was going to tell the captain that you pushed him? Isn't that right? Yes. But even if he had pulled the bell cord and called for the captain of the ship, aren't you friends with every member of the crew? Why would that have been a problem? It was what he said first that made me scared. What he said first? What are you doing here this time of night, Inspector? Oh, she thought it was going to be a police officer. Fair enough. Well, not fair enough, but you know what I mean. He's so cute. I'm sorry, I thought it was a friend of mine. He said Inspector was his friend. Ah, yes, you meaning me. The great hider of evidence. Who was supposed to be acting his bodyguard. I'm sorry, okay, I'm sorry. I thought that if the police knew about me, they would arrest me. So before he could pull out the bell cord, May I stop you, Mom, please? Something doesn't make quite a lot of sense. It's just... Girl. I mean, was this last guy really going to pull the bell cord? No, it was the wardrobe. He was going to look over to the wardrobe where his friend was. What? What? This is odd, but this is not, like, this is really not a part of, like, we don't need to know this. Even if he was just looking for me, we know what happened now. Right? Like, it doesn't even need to be, well, I'm not Cosmo, so I can't know for certain, but he was a man of his word. If he told you he wouldn't give your secret away, then he wouldn't have done. No, he was walking over to it. He was going to pull the cord.
Yeah, we don't need to know this part, do we? Like, this part of the trial is like, you know, it kind of null and void because we have the killer. I know we're out trying to be compassionate as well, but Mr. Naruto, the day's work is not yet done, it seems. There's more deduction to... What? Another deduction? What action was the victim really about to take at the moment? He's going to go to the wardrobe. Great music as well. Whether the young man's gaze was directed? First, consider... I'm sorry, guys. Like, I'm just being honest. Like, I'm not trying to be rude about it. Like, we don't need this part either. Like, I'm gonna get so... I know some people are gonna be like very upset by me talking like this about like this game. That is a really good game. I just feel like I could just say the wardrobe and that's it. You know what I mean? Consider the victim's location in the cabin. That's easy. I remember every detail of that room. I mean, yes, I spent quite a lot of time in the wardrobe, but still, that cabin's been home for this entire voyage. Exactly. Yeah, he would have known this place very well. So this is how the cabin looks last night when Miss Pavlova visited Cosmo-sama? Yes, it's exactly how it was. Are you ready then, Mr. Naruto? Yes. If there's one thing I've learned today, it's that the simple gaze can reveal all manner of truths. And not only that, in order to draw the right conclusion, you can't afford to be out by even a little bit when you're following the gaze where it lands. So when it turned away, it's kind of cool that they also like keep the through line of the gaze going. What exactly was Kazuma-san looking at? The wardrobe.
Take that!
Take that. Yep. What else?
Considering everything that had happened last night, certainly it may have looked as though Kazuma-san was looking right to ring the bell cord. Yes, however, it's directly beside the bell cord, that wardrobe. The wardrobe? And more importantly, what was inside the wardrobe? The man's great friend sleeping soundly. Think back very carefully. What were Mr. Asakai's exact words last night?
I could use another opinion here. Another opinion? Yeah, so it's for us, yeah. Yes, but not from a member of the crew. No, Mr. Asuka intended to consult his close friend on the matter. To see if between them they might be able to help in some way, no doubt. Oh no. Sadly, we can't know the truth for certain now. It's too late for that. But I wish you had made sure of what Mr. Asukai was looking at. Things may have ended very differently if you had. Miss Pavlova, I want to thank you for finally admitting the truth. But unfortunately, the truth is, a man lost his life because of what you did. Yeah, it's true. And that will never change. Yeah, and it's unfortunate because, like, I don't think she intended to kill him at all. Like, again, a great character. I hope you never forget that. Jesus, calm down. I'm sure she feels incredibly guilty. Like, it's not like she's not going through stuff as well. Like, I know it's my best friend, but it's hard to not, like, talk about this stuff at the same time, you know? There's a lot going on here in this trial. I'm sorry. Really. I'm so sorry. I believe you. I 100% believe you, Pavlova. I really do. Nicolina. I 100% believe you. What's have I done? Yeah, it was an accident. Like, it was accidental. I forgive you. And so, at long last, the mystery surrounding the tragic accident on the SS Bura was finally laid to rest. I believe her. I fully believe her. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way she intended to do this. 9th of January, 7:14 p.m. SS Bura. She's 15 as well, guys. She's 15. We're not having another repeat of when I did Ace Attorney and a bunch of people were like, why are you sympathizing with this girl? Remember, I'm not going to say who because I feel like it's a spoiler. But, like, there was a girl who was, like, a young character who did something really horrible. She was, like, 14. And, like, everyone's like, why are you sympathizing with this girl? And it's like... Or she was 14 at the time of the horrible incident or whatever. And it's like, guys, like... she's 14. Like, calm down. Clearly not in the right space of mind either. I'm not saying age excuses everything, but it was clearly an accident. Oh, look, he's very sad too. I really love the touch that the cabin crew loved this girl because she performed for them and all this stuff. That's really cool. What will happen to Miss Pavlova now then? Once we reach Great Britain, she'll be handed over to the British police at Scotland Yard. What about the fact that she ran away from Russia? Won't the Russians try to repatriate her? Apparently. Oh, you cleaned up your face as well. The English detective can speak to the immigration office and sort it all out. Mr. Sholmes can do that? Mr. Sholmes is a great addition as well to this chapter too. So she won't be going back to Russia then? No, I don't think so. Even if she wanted to return in the future, I doubt she would be able to. She ran away, so now she's in exile for life. I see. I'm sorry. Seaman Stroganoff? I wanted to help our angel, no matter what. But I didn't think about you. About how you lost a good friend. Dude, yeah, you're under in strenuous circumstances as well. Let's you know, water under the bridge. I will go, Nina. I will give myself to the British police. Probably for the best, I'd say. That's kind of you know. But I'm up for you just going free, whatever. You know, we've solved this out. You know, literally, I'm up for everyone going free. I don't think it's gonna solve a damn thing for anyone to go to prison this time. I don't think it's gonna help anybody. Live your lives. It's not gonna help a damn person. In the meantime, thank you for letting me go free again. This is a really great ending, though. It's a really great... And it was a really great story. Really fantastic story. Death feels like such a waste, but... Well, do what you can for Miss Pavlova, won't you? Duh. Well, I'm afraid you need to pack now. We're due to arrive in Hong Kong tomorrow. Oh, we're going to Hong Kong next? As much as it pains me, I'm going to have to hand you over to the consul to arrange your passage back to Japan. Yes, I did stow away after all. I couldn't really expect any different. Yeah, we committed a crime too. We all committed crimes. We're all big crime lords. So you should get back to your cabin now. Oh, it's all cleaned up as well. It's very weird with the chicken bone on the thing. It looks as my study tour to Great Britain is over before it even begun tonight, because there's no reason to be there anymore, right? To think that only days ago, Kazuma and I were laughing together about how we tear up the streets of London. That seems like a distant memory now. Oh, what's that? Is it someone weeping? Who's crying? Oh, Susato, no! Susato-san? Naruto-san, I didn't know you had returned. Oh, well, oh, sorry, I skipped up accent. I can read it. One second, there you go. Well, I haven't been back long. Inspector Osanaga just told me that I should pack, ready to leave the ship tomorrow and all that. I still can't believe this has happened. It's still very surreal. It's very surreal. I can't believe someone's life can be over just like that. Yep. Susato-san. He had such grand ideas for this visit to Great Britain. So many dreams. He had his whole life ahead of him. And now they've been cruelly taken away. Just as he has. I thought I could never forgive the person responsible. But now we know the truth, that it was just an accident. Yeah, that's why I think nobody should be going to prison. Nobody should go to jail. We shouldn't even bring her back to Russia. She should be, I just think everyone should just, forget about what happened. I really do. It's just a silly series of mishaps. It's too much, Naruto-san. It's just too much. Yes, I know. I wish there was something I could say. Inspector, sorry, I was just hiding lunch from the old people on the ship. I'm sorry. My duty was to see Asagai's safety to Great Britain. Oh, he probably feels terrible at this too, but I failed and caused his two closest friends great pain and suffering. Yeah, I'm very suffering right now. Very suffering. It actually is very sad because, I thought he was going to be a character who was going to be with us for the whole game. Very, very good character was Kazuma too. I let everyone down. And I would do anything to make up for that terrible blunder. Nobody blames you, Inspector. Take these off! And I'm free now again, at least. Huh? Sholmes put them back on? No, Sholmes, don't! Surprised, Mr. Naruto? What is the meaning of this? Oh, a trifling matter. Simply that in my head, I think I shall always picture you wearing those shackles. Without them, the balance seems all wrong. It's distracting. Sorry? So I decided to restore them, for old time's sake. Shall we say you are a stowaway after all? He thinks this is funny. Mr. Sholmes. We do appreciate all your assistance. So he just wanted to put on the shackles just so that's how he remembers us. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. He did help. Not at all, and though it's a little late, may I offer a sincere condolences. I hope you will be able to fulfill some of his aspirations in his honor.
I'm afraid that won't be possible. We shall be disembarking at the next port in Hong Kong. We have to return to Japan and make a full report about everything that's happened.
What? Wait a minute. It's just me that has to go back, isn't it? I mean, I was a stowaway.
The terms of this study tour were negotiated by the Department of Justice in both Great Britain and Japan. It was to be one lawyer and one assistant.
Was to be?
In the light of Miss Asagai's unfortunate death, I'm afraid the study tour can no longer go ahead.
Oh no. I don't care for me, but...
Yeah, poor Susato.
My dear fellows, the majority of problems have an extremely simple solution, you know. Really?
All you require is one lawyer, and the study tour can continue, surely.
But there's no one else with the necessary qualifications, Mr. Sholmes. We know of no other lawyer. It's gonna be us, isn't it? That's really cool. That's a cool ending. Qualifications, you say?
Any qualifications obtained in your own country will be of little value in Great Britain, I'm afraid.
Oh, but anyway, the voyage to London still promises a good month of time. Ample opportunity, I would say, to find yourselves another suitable lawyer. Mr. Zato? Yes? Do you think perhaps I might be able to do it? Ah, but you're not a lawyer, Mr. Naruto.
Unless Are you studying law? No, I'm not, but... I'm sorry, in that case, I don't think there's even a chance it could work. But as I said, there's still more than 1 month before we reach England shores. Isn't that right, Mr. Naruto?
Wait, we have a month in which to study to learn when I must become a lawyer in Great Britain? That's actually, like, crazy.
Mr. Naruto, that's ridiculous. Are you still suggesting anyone could learn all of that in just 40 days?
Just only one way to find out. He's gonna do it. He's gonna do it for Susato.
I will work my fingers to the bone, Inspector. Every single day. Will you let me try? And if by the time we reach Great Britain, I haven't learned enough to become recognized as a lawyer, I'll take whatever punishment is deemed appropriate.
But why put yourself in such a difficult position? Because Cosma did that for us constantly.
For Cosma, he said there was something he had to do in Great Britain, and that he would sacrifice anything to make it happen. He was passionate about it. I can't let all that passion just come to nothing. And anyway, it's for my own benefit too.
I'll become a lawyer. I have to. So we're not even a lawyer yet. I don't know. That's really cool. That's really cool. I like this. I like it a lot.
What do you say, Mrs. Otto?
Oh, the smile. Lovely smile.
I think it's a wonderful idea.
What a beat.
So, what does our bespectacled inspector friend say? Are you serious? 1 lawyer and 1 assistant.
The numbers are indisputable. What we've seen from Sholmes is that while, like, I think a lot of people probably would expect me to not to like him, one of the things that really has happened with Sholmes is that, like, I've gotten to not only really like him, but really understand that he does actually care about people quite a bit and cares about, like, the truth. And that's actually a really cool thing to have about a bumbling, like, kind of like inspector. You know, have someone have, like, the good qualities of him are actually like, oh, he does care about everyone.
No, it's madness. Yet fascinating, wouldn't you agree?
Fascinating?
Duty and rules are the dull routine of existence that we all abhor. Give us interest, give us fascination. Speak for yourself. Besides, qualifications are no measure of a man. What matters is his character, no?
And you've witnessed ample evidence of this man's exemplary character today with your own eyes, from the early hours of his morning until the very moment now. Despite contending with the passing of his close companion, and despite the accusation of guilt, this man has shown resourcefulness and intelligence above all courage.
Very well. I'll think of a clever way to word my report to the Department of Justice.
Thank you so much, Hosonaga.
Inspector, after all, I did just make a promise, didn't I? Sure. I said I'd do anything at all to make up for my shortcomings here.
Oh, thank you, Inspector.
If you'll excuse me,
This is a really fantastic way to end this. Like, you know, us taking up the mantle, us, like, taking kind of, like, the position that maybe he might have taken, and also, like, us helping out Susato. It's something that Kazuma would do for us.
I must pay a visit to the captain's quarters, I think. I need to discuss what to do next, and how to best make my report. You're gonna get the shit kicked out of you again.
Very cool ending.
Are you prepared to attempt this, Mr. Naruto? Yes, I'm going to try. I wonder, would you consider teaching me what I need to know? Everything about being a lawyer?
Oh, wow.
I would be delighted to help you. I am a judicial assistant after all. It's really cool that this is how, like, their relationship was played out as well. Thank you. From distrust to this.
And it takes kind of like a traumatic event to kind of sometimes bring it together.
And Mr. Naruto? I'd like you to take charge of this. Oh no. What? Me? Are you sure? I'm sure it's what Kazuma-san would have wanted. Its name is Karuma. It's a great sword that's been in Asuka clan for generations. Very well, I accept. I'll treasure it always. So then, Miss Susato. It seems we're working together from some time to come yet. It will be an honor, Mr. Naruto. And for the next 40 days, I shan't grant you a single minute of freedom.
And that's what we want with that little book of yours. Great. It's such a great, like, progression of the relationship.
We shall fill every spare moment with study. Yes, it's exactly what I need. But before we begin, I have an earnest favor to ask of you, too. Goodness, what is it? Please throw me to the ground.
No!
3 times.
I would never do that to you. Why would I do that? We'll forget about that. I even forgot about that.
I should never have doubted you.
You're okay. Like, I think you're just, like, really smart and you wanted to make sure everything was, like... And you're probably upset as well that, like, you know, Cosma died.
Of course you would never have done anything to hurt him. That should have been obvious to me from the start. But I allowed suspicion to get the better of me. And no matter how upset I was feeling, it was completely unforgivable behavior.
No, it wasn't. I forgive it 100%. I forgive everyone in this case. Everyone's forgiven.
No, you were in shock. You just found out about me stowing away. No, I won't let you make excuses for me. Whatever the circumstances, I should never have thrown you. And not just once, but 5 times. That number keeps creeping up, doesn't it? Please, you must.
No, you're like 16. You should take a hold of me and throw me. Do it. Don't even think about it.
No. I don't even know how. I've never thrown anyone in my life.
Very wise, Mr. Naruto. It isn't a skill one acquires without considerable training.
Oh, Mr. Sholmes, he's still here.
I observed your throwing technique several times with great interest. I confess I was most impressed.
When did he see that?
I presumed that it would be a form of Japanese wrestling.
Oh, well, in a way. It's not wrestling, but my own interpretation of an ancient jiu-jitsu technique. Apparently it's called the Suzaru takedown. It leaves your head swimming, believe me.
How beguiling.
I'm a practitioner of the combat of art myself. I'm somewhat accomplished boxer.
Get him. Suzaru, just get this boy. Get this boy before he prolongs the ending too long. Just get him. Get him. There he goes dancing around again. I wonder if you'd be so kind as to instruct me on the technique of your wrestling. No, just throw him. Throw him. Suzaru, throw him right now. Please.
Yes, I'd be honored. Throw him.
Then let's not dally. Demonstrate, my dear madame. Throw him.
Of course.
On me? Do it on him! Okay, this is a perfect way to end it, in fairness. Us upside down looking up at Susato. Oh yes, arresting indeed. And this is what the term the Susato takedown, is it?
That was a Susato squash.
Okay, new name for the move.
In my groggy state of consciousness, a scene from an evening recently spent with Cosmo flickered into my mind. Karuma? That's right.
This is, like, I love the ending to this, but it also should get, like, it beats Lord of the Rings Return of the King for the multiple endings thing, you know? I can't believe you managed to get a permission to bring it with you. I mean, taking a katana sword on your tour is more than a little irregular, surely?
A Japanese man's sword is his soul, Ryunosuke. I can't be parted from my katana. Kuruma guides me. I truly believe that. So its name compels its wielder to slice evil in two? Not that you need much compelling. On that subject, there's something very important that I have to do in Great Britain, and I'll sacrifice anything to make it happen. I'd appreciate you seeing it through with me. Of course I will. Whatever it is, I'll see it with you to the end. I knew you wouldn't let me down. That important thing you had to do. I still don't know what that was. But I'm going to see a place for myself and work it out. In Great Britain's capital, London. This is actually going to be super fun.
Susato pops up on the screen.
One thing just doesn't make sense.
Really great ending. A really great ending. I mean, we finished it. There's no trial.
That's very, very, like,
interesting for an Ace Attorney game to do that. I've never thought they would even nearly do that. And like, it actually is, I guess it is the Ace Attorney Chronicles, isn't it? It's not just the Ace Attorney, like, it's not just Ace Attorney Trials. So we had The Great Departure, which was really good. Like, the contents of it was very good. Like, my only criticism always was the pacing. We have The Adventure of the Unbreakable Speckled Band. Again, very, very good. Some amazing characters. I thought the ending was absolutely beautiful. Like, that whole ending there, like, bringing it all together. I thought no one was really to blame. I kind of wanted everyone to go free. Cosmo-san's death actually really did affect the story a lot, so it was kind of like, okay, he died, but he made an amazing story out of it. The only, again, criticism I have it as well is that, like, I felt like, there's, a lot of twists and turns. Again, I think, like, a simpler kind of, like, approach to it would, like, work. And I'm not trying to say, like, oh, like, you shouldn't be detailed. But you get what I'm saying, right? Like, it just, like, I feel like some stuff they don't need to be talked about. Some stuff they don't even need to be said. I feel like, we don't need to withhold information if we know the information. I think that's one thing that Danganronpa kind of gets right sometimes, is that, like, if a character knows something, they will kind of shout it out, apart from, like, maybe some characters that just like to withhold information. But, like, I think I had the same criticism of Danganronpa 2, which is a game that I believe is a 10 out of 10, is that, like, a lot of times when stuff happens, every character has to get their input in, when that doesn't need to happen, and that doesn't happen in real life. Some characters will just be quiet during it. But yeah, really great. Really good. It was longer than the first one, but still very good. I love that there was no trial. That's a really interesting way of doing things. The Adventure of the Great Runaway Room is the next one. After that, we have The Adventures of Clouded Kokoro. Oh, that looks freaking awesome. Oh my god. And then we have episode 5, which is the last one, The Hound of the Basket Vase. I'm not going to read that. Well, I could. A hound it was, but such a hound of any mortal had ever seen. Its eyes glowed, smoldering glare. Really, yeah, okay. We will get to that, of course. Someone said it's going to be the longest playthrough on the channel. If you're wondering why the episodes are a bit longer nowadays, it's because I'm on holidays for the week. And so we can do, like, long episodes. There'll be longer episodes up until maybe Thursday coming up. The longer episodes will be happening. So we're going to get through, like, I'd say at least another, like, if we're doing 2-hour videos every single day with this, like, maybe around there, maybe a little bit less, the chances are, that's what, we're going to get through, like, 8 hours of this game. So we might be finished this by the end of next week, which actually would be kind of interesting. No, this. We're not even on this yet. And then we're going to go back to kind of normal timing as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. Respond to my criticism of the pacing as well, and we'll have a discussion about it in the comment section, if that's okay. I think sometimes people think that, like, I don't like to hear dissenting opinions. It's just usually, like, if I agree with an opinion that someone says that it disagrees with mine, which are plenty of times there are people who are like, I actually think this character's kind of cool. I actually think this thing is... And usually I just don't reply because I'm just like, okay, yeah. But then I like to have a discussion with people where I'm kind of like, hey, I don't agree with that, or this character did this. But yeah, always, yeah, just, we'll have a talk about it. We'll have a talk.